Today we're going to look just for a minute at a 2-ply yarn versus a 3-ply yarn for our sock spin along. And this is a question that's come up quite a bit, or a comment that's come up, and not just in our own little spin along that we're doing, but in any book you read or any course you take or anything that you watch or read about hand spinning yarn for a sock. Common wisdom would tell you that a 3-ply is better for a sock than a 2-ply. And this may have been proven to be the case. There's probably a good argument for that. It is pretty squishy. You'll notice that mine are about the same weight, maybe not weight, but they both are about the same diameter. Is that what I want to say? But of course this is a little bit more tightly plied, spun together. The only thing that I can comment on is my own experience. And back in the day when I first started spinning for socks, because it's all that I knew or had read, I did spin 3-ply for the socks. I thought that's what I needed to do, and that's what I did. And so I spun 3-ply for socks, and then, I don't know, maybe I had some 2-ply spun up and wanted to make socks, and I made them out of it. And for me, over the years, like I said, I've done both, I've knit both, I've had both. I never found that the 3-ply lasted any longer than the 2-ply. But as I've also mentioned, I'm not typically very hard on my socks. So, and I think by having the alpaca content in with the wool, excuse me, that it felts just a little bit, not felt solid, but the wool really blends together and makes a pretty solid fabric. And so I don't generally have trouble with it. So you experiment, and you can read other places or listen to other people, or just if you have enough fiber, try it yourself and see if you are more comfortable with the 3-ply. Be aware that a 3-ply yarn is, of course, going to take you more fiber to spin. You're going to need more because you're doing the 3-plies. One thing I did this on 2 different pairs of socks, I remember, and I wish I still had some of those. But here, just before I started this, I went through and did a purge and threw out a bunch of stuff. Anyway, I digress. So what I did, partly because I was lazy or because I didn't have enough fiber, I would do a 3-ply for the foot. And then once I'd finished the heel and was starting up the leg, I'd knit toe up. You could do it the other way if you knit top down. I did a 2-ply for the leg and a 3-ply for the foot. So you can consider that too. So that's my commentary on 2-ply versus a 3-ply. It probably hasn't answered your questions completely. I'm just sharing my experience. And I'm also going to share at least one resource that talks about a 3-ply yarn 2 ways that I think would be helpful. Gosh, excuse me, guys. I don't know why I have such a scratchy throat. I've been drinking some water too. So there's my take on 2-ply versus 3-ply. I am interested to see, I know that at least one of you, I know Ellie at Curio Stitches is spinning for a 4-ply, and I don't know if anyone else might be doing that or who else might be spinning towards a 3-ply. I'm going to go with a 2-ply this time. That's my plan. And this is not my chosen yarn. This was just some that I had already had on hand so I could show you. Spun and plied on my Louette S17 wheel. Here are just a couple of resources I thought I might share. Not saying that you need to go out and spend the money on these things, but if you have a few dollars, or you might check at your local library to see if they have them. But these are 2 publications I've had for a really long time. They both are out of print now, but they are available on a lot of the used bookstore sites. I checked just before I started recording this, and I found both of them in various places. Both are put out by Interweave Press, the spin-off magazine people, and very old school, I would say, but timely. They fit my mentality of sock knitting very well. It's kind of like you spin the yarn, you knit the socks. It's not technical, but some great patterns. This one has a lot of different patterns, not just socks. This one is all socks, and I like them both because they show you the sock yarn spun, and talk about the fiber spun and the person doing the spinning, and then they also compare it to a commercial yarn. So I find myself referring to these two books a lot. In fact, both of these are second copies for me because I've either worn out or lost my first copy. So I would highly recommend either one of those. I think the one was just a few dollars on most of the sites. I don't think either one of them was any more than $12 US to purchase. So I think very worthwhile, and both have at least a dozen, maybe 15 or more patterns. So a real bargain. The other one is a more recent publication, and I'm not sure. This may be available digitally. It may still be available to purchase, and that's Ply Magazine, the sock yarn issue. And when I first got this magazine and started reading it, I thought, oh, this isn't going to be for me. Way too technical, way too many steps and taking the time. And if that's what works for you too, if you like that kind of thing, then that more power to you. I'm just saying for me, it's not quite my way of spinning for sock yarn. But there are many, many excellent thoughts in this magazine. And probably we're talking about 3-ply yarn. One of the best is by Joanna of Knit Spin Farm. Let me see, I should have marked the page. Let's see. 3-ply, 2 ways. Excellent article. So if that's available, I should have checked and seen. That would be another resource that you might be interested in. So I just thought I'd mention those. Not sponsored, of course, in any way, but just I don't keep a lot of books and things like that, but these are ones that I really use a lot. These two in particular for many, many years. So I hope that helps. Do you have a book or a pattern that you find that you refer to often for your spinning or knitting? Let us know. There's one more thing I wanted to reach out and say, you guys, when we're talking about resources. If there's anyone here who's watching and who is wanting to spin for socks, and maybe you don't have quite enough fiber, you need a few more ounces, please feel free to reach out to me or to one of us, and we'll see what we can get to you. I'm in the U.S., and it would have to be in the U.S. for me to ship something off, but we do have other participants who are overseas. And so if by chance you just need a few ounces of fiber to spin, please reach out privately, send a private message, and let one of us know. We can probably help you out within reason. Like, we can't get 100 requests, but I just wanted to say that there might be somebody who maybe only has a few ounces or doesn't have any but would like to give this a try, okay? Don't be ashamed. We won't share that information. Just reach out privately if you would like a few ounces to try spinning some sock yarn. Okay?